I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello friends, my name is Dain Miller.
And my name is Niall. And we are here today in this very closet for you, for all of you, for ourselves, your fuck buddies.
One day only.
My body.
Are you still recovering from the weekend?
Oh yeah.
Niall was at a bachelor party all weekend.
Yeah, it's the first drop of drink I've had since then.
That's not true. You had a little bit of my beer on Monday.
I had 20 ounces or 20 mils.
Yeah, 20 ounces, exactly. You had a whole pint.
I wish. I would not. I was barely able to eat the pizza. I almost dropped my pizza on the subway.
Oh, how sad would you have been?
Oh man, I would have laughed so hard, but I also would have cried. Because I got down, I sat down, I put it beside me, and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta pay, and then my card wouldn't work on the thing beside me, so I stood up, and I don't even know what happened, but clipped the box flipped over, opened up, and the pizza crumpled against itself, and that's the only way it wedged and didn't come out. And I was just like, oh my god, holy shit.
Holy shit.
If you hear us say that and or anything else inexplicable in this episode, don't worry. It'll all come to light pretty soon.
Yeah, unless it's a complete bag of shit. When I edit it, Niall and I did a thing today, and it's something we normally don't do.
Yeah.
Something we've never done.
No. And it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. So hopefully we can turn it into an actual product that we can share with you. And if not, then you'll just have to listen to us make
holy shit.
Make obscure references to something you'll never know.
Mm-hmm. So first off, do you want to help me play a prank on my sister?
Oh boy!
If my sister is listening, that is a joke. I'm not pranking you.
That's part of the prank.
Shh. Yeah, let's go. You kick it into gear.
Let's do it. This is posted by Big Boss Man 538. The question is confidence as it pertains to dating.
Okay.
I think I overthink the confidence thing. Is it a state of mind? Just telling yourself not to look sad or whatever so people don't think you're a loser?
Is that it? Please tell me that's the whole question.
That is the whole question.
Oh man, that's actually the dictionary definition of confidence. Tricking yourself so you don't look sad
or whatever.
That's
but here's the thing. It's the last couple words. So people don't think you're a loser.
Oh.
But here's the thing. It's confident
is not thinking you're a loser.
And also it's not confidence is being self-assured that even if you are a loser, you own it, and if people think you're a loser,
fuck it.
Whatever.
Yeah. Also, one man's loser is another man's winner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are people who, depending on what day they watched or snuck in on our lives, if you came in on a Monday,
we're playing D&D hardcore or Pathfinder, but
to the point where we now have character voices and accents.
Yeah, we finally do. I even told someone today. I was like, we were talking about something. Actually, it was pretty funny because someone in work kind of kindly or lovingly referred to someone else what a dork, but I thought they were what a dwarf, and I was like, what? It's it's the best way to just casually, especially this girl's quite tall, but turns out she meant dork, and I was like, oh, I'm currently playing a dwarf who's been turned into a woman, and they were like, ha ha ha, for how long does that go on for? I was like, yeah, 4 years, and they were like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best, and they were like, that'd be terrible. I'm like, no, you'd love it if you were there.
Yep.
It's so good. But yeah, I write fantasy novels. You think I'm cool?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Real cool.
It's, but if you want to boil down confidence when it comes to dating, it's more of a self-assuredness. It's about knowing who you are and knowing what you're about
and being okay with it,
and being hey, this is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're willing to, you know what I mean, don't make your hobbies and shit your personality. I think we've talked about that before. The only thing that matters to me isn't my Pathfinder character.
Yeah.
where I know some people who are like, I'm an anime fan, so like everything I do is revolves around anime. It's like that's a bit much, and you can be
like,
confident
whatever.
about that.
If you are so into something that is what you want to do, that's fine. But you do need to kind of realize that will color people's because I don't think a lot of people can be with people who are just like, this is me. Oh, cool. What else? No, this is it. Everything is that one thing.
Exactly.
Like that's a lot. But whatever. If that's your thing, go ahead.
Yeah.
But you need to be cool with your shit, no matter what it is. And we talked about this before, but like, there's nothing cooler than like someone being super pumped. Like, a friend of mine is into making like miniature models. Fucking sick. Like, it's so cool. The fact that like she's really into it and she does a really good job of it, and like she's passionate about that, and like she wasn't afraid to like show them to us and like talk about it, and like that's amazing. I love it. It's so much better than someone just being like top 40 in Netflix.
Yeah,
love it.
it's like, what do you like to do? Hang out with friends.
Hang out with buds.
It's like, well, yes. What do you do while you're hanging out with friends? What is the thing you're doing?
At top 40 in Netflix.
And that's the thing. It's like, I would 100% rather hang out with someone who does like a quote unquote like fringe like nerdy thing than just listen to you talk about what you did at the cottage last weekend, how hammered you were.
Wow. Thanks.
You know what I mean? But like, if it's like everyone, if the only thing you do is just get hammered with your friends, it's like you're about as interesting as someone who only watches, old horror movies. Like, if
I will say, old horror movie watching is a lot more interesting than
for sure. But I mean, like, you can only listen to someone talk about the same one subject.
No, I know. You need to, like, people are, like, in general, just diverse. Like, it's very rare, I think, to find people who are literally just, this is me, one thing.
Yeah.
People have a lot of facets to them, but people repress or hide or exaggerate other facets to
100%. Put
forward certain images, which is pretty much, like, one, not confident, and two, like the equivalent of like wounding yourself before you go on a date, because you're going to have to limp that pretense through the entire date, and people can smell the blood. Like, they'll actually pick up on it, whether or not they'll do it consciously or not. But like, when you're talking to someone who's passionate about something, you can't help but feel that.
Yeah.
But conversely, if you're talking to someone who's just like putting forward this bullshit, or like really like suppressing one part, or really, like that one person was going to pretend they knew shit about football, it's like,
yeah,
people are gonna know, and it's gonna suck.
People know that.
Yeah, it's not gonna be good for you.
And like, just confidence in general is a learnable skill. It's something that you can definitely teach yourself, and it's something that you have to.
Something you need to work on.
You foster in yourself. It's not just. I mean, for some people, for me, for sure, it was almost like just flipping a switch, where I was just kind of like, I just kind of got like over. You okay, buddy?
Yeah.
You don't have to drink it.
I've already put my lip holes to it.
I know, but like, I'm okay with calling that a waste.
This sweet, sweet alcohol is flooding my system now, and I feel glorious.
I don't remember what the fuck I was going to say.
You were talking about why you hid all our booze away for this episode.
Yeah.
You're asking me to join your gang.
We have jackets. Anyway, just fucking. Oh, what I was saying was like, it's not a flip switch thing that you can just be like, I'm confident now.
I think you were saying it was a flip switch for you, though.
But like, it's one of those things where like, sometimes you can just wake up and just be like, no, this is who I am.
Well, that's the thing. You need to. I think like you will grow into yourself. Like, everyone's going to be a little awkward, a little weird, a little fighting themselves, a little trying too hard.
Yeah.
When they're teenagers, You just can't let that continue, and you need to realize that, like, the less you do of that, the better. Like, I used to, like, be scared about telling people that, one, I loved fantasy books, and two, that I wrote in general, let alone writing fantasy books.
Yeah.
And I still tell people that, and a lot of people give me that look, but the fact that I don't care about it means they don't care about it like that. And if they care, I don't give a fuck, because that's all I really need to know about them, right?
Yep.
Someone's like, oh, that's lame. I'm like, one, you're an idiot, because you probably watch Game of Thrones, but two, fuck you.
Yeah, and this thing, it's like there's a lot of things that you can sort of like. It's one of the, if you have a insecurity that sort of like chips away at your confidence, 9 times out of 10 there's something you can do about it. And like, some people are like, oh, I don't like my teeth, or like there are some things that are a little more difficult because like fixing that shit's really expensive.
Yeah.
But like if you're insecure about your weight or like, you know what I mean, things like that, it's like you can fix that.
Yeah.
It's
Like it's
a tough
it's not
start.
easy, but it's
Yeah.
like it's easily like startable. Like I think the commitment is the hard part. Whereas like you can get up and you can walk down the street and that's exercise, or you can run, or you can like, you know, start making your diet a little bit more healthy, or you know, there are a bundle of things that are going to lead you to whatever you're, you know.
Yeah.
You can work on it. You can fix that. And the thing is, like, if you can fix it, why not? And if you can't, you don't really have a choice
Then
but to get the
accept
fuck
it.
over it.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, you, and like, even people who like, they're like, oh, I don't like myself. I hate myself. Well, tough shit. You can't get a self transplant.
Yeah.
You're still you, and you have two choices, and that's be fucking miserable or get the fuck over it.
Yeah.
And also, you can be whoever you want to be, really.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it's
Like there's no part of you that's like unchangeable that like matters.
and
right?
people have a direct effect on your confidence too. If you surround yourself with people who are constantly like belittling you
Mm-hmm.
and insulting you or sort of like disrespecting you in any sort of
Yeah.
way, it might just be worth it to be like, hey, I guess I'm just going to start from scratch and
Yeah,
be,
there's-
you know what I mean, and kind of zero out for a second and just be like, yeah, it sucks that I don't have friends, but those weren't your friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if people are actively working against your confidence, they're not your friends.
Not at all.
No matter what you've been through together, no matter what you think they mean to you, if people aren't supporting you and like
Yeah.
pushing you up, they're not your friends.
Yeah,
and
not-
that's I don't think there's an exception to that rule.
Not being needled is definitely better than just being constantly fucking pricked at by people. Mm-hmm. So get the fuck out of there, and like, it's gonna feel great. Like if you ever
Yeah.
do it, like seriously. But I also think like one important thing to do is like, and this might sound weird, but like a good way of becoming confident is to like treat other people the way you would want to be treated. You know what I mean? So if someone's like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm really into anime, and you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, tell me a bit about it or something. Like, when you can accept other people's shit, I feel like you're going to be a lot less worried about them accepting your shit. And also, if you can't accept their shit, then you're being a hypocrite or an asshole.
Yeah, I think
Within
a
reason.
very big part of like being confident is having that sort of open door policy, because it tends to be people. If you're willing to accept people and like engage in people
And open up to people.
yeah, I think that's like probably the number one sign of someone who's confident is
Also,
to
I think even just, like, being nice to people.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people find that very hard. Like, they find like they're putting themselves in a position of weakness or whatever. And it's like, be nice to people, be accepting to people, be what you would want people to be to you. And like, if they don't take it, fuck it. But that's the thing about being confident is it doesn't matter. You're out there, and once you're happy with what you're doing, you know, which
Yeah.
hopefully is a good thing. Hopefully you're doing some good stuff.
yeah, it's very strange. Like a lot of people see like assholes as confident.
No, but
and
it's
like
like
that's
the opposite of
that's
confidence.
Yeah, that's usually like people who act like assholes or dicks are usually compensating for an insecurity. Like almost always. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
it's like an
very rare
aggressive
that
like
someone.
front that, because if you're pushing people away and like keeping them in this like defensive kind of combatant stance, or you're just like hammering them down, you're stepping on them and you're, you know, getting above them, and in your own mind anyway.
Yeah.
So then no one's gonna realize that like you have all your insecurities and your weaknesses and shit, because everyone's always too distracted with the other shit.
Yep.
Whereas, like, if those people were to be nice and to put themselves on even an equal footing with somebody else, or even below them, like by helping them out or anything, they would fucking be terrified of that.
Yeah.
know?
And there is the danger of like going too far, and that's usually like the fake confidence, or like when people are like, I'm going to be more confident, and then they start acting like an ass. Like
Yeah, that's not confidence.
that becomes arrogance, and that's not an attractive quality. And I know there are a lot of people who fall for it, and a lot of people who sort of like blend those two lines. That's why
Yeah.
fucking negging is like a thing that exists in the consciousness of the world, is because like that arrogance sort of like is a really, really good convincing mask for confidence
Yeah.
to the general public. So like you've got to find like a truth for yourself, and then also find the ability to, like you said, accept the truth of others. And
Yeah.
and that, I think, fosters a very, very good persona and era of confidence.
Yeah. You need to, like, be able to rely on yourself,
Yeah.
you know, and that's a confidence. So if you know, like, you know, you're, like, I don't know, if, like, you're a good person, and you know that, like, in any given situation, you're still going to be that person. Like, you're going to be still polite to that person, or, like, help that person like lift their fucking groceries onto the subway or like something like that. If you know you can rely on you, then you can be confident in yourself. If you know that, fuck, you're going down the road and this person might be really into sports, you have to pretend you are, and you can't be into computer games. But then later on, you might be somewhere where everyone likes computer games. You have to pretend you never liked sport. Like, you can't rely on yourself because you don't know who the fuck you're going to be in an hour. So you don't know how well you're going to do in that situation because it's a different you every fucking place you go.
Yep.
That's not being confident. That's being like, shit, I hope I'm good at lying about whatever they're into.
Yeah. I think a good exercise, and if you suffer from low confidence, make one good choice for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whether that's skipping the fast food meal and like making dinner at home, whether it doesn't have to be a fucking salad, just like home cooking a meal will do good things for you. You know what I mean? Or go for a run, or even if it's just something as simple as like if people are talking about something that you find shitty, like if someone's telling like a racist joke or a homophobic joke, you don't have to like go as far as to like stand up and deliver a rousing
Slap
speech.
them across the face.
You can just leave. You know what I mean? Don't be a part of it. You know what I mean? So once you start respecting yourself and like making good choices for yourself, you'll find that your confidence goes up because it's empowering to take care of yourself. Because not taking care of yourself is one of the easiest things to do.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's like, you tend to sort of like care about the people around you.
Yeah.
At the cost of yourself.
Just think about me drinking too much on the weekend. But that's also because I have an issue.
And like everyone has, everyone has their own like lapses in confidence. Like no one is. I mean, maybe there's that one person, but like no one's perfect all the time.
Mm-hmm. I do think one really good thing to do as well is to, if you're in a situation where someone mentions like a band or a movie or anything that you would usually kind of nod and, oh yeah, I know them. Just be like, oh, who's that?
Yeah.
Because, like, it's so easy. It's so easy to just be like, oh, yeah, no, I know them. And just, like, shrug it off and continue and whatever. But, like,
or they're like, I've seen a little bit of it. Or, like,
yeah.
I think I've heard them. I don't know them too well.
Just be like, even if it's something, like, that you should have fucking seen. Like, even if it's something you said before you've seen.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, no. And then, like, what's one better is, like, one, that's empowering, that's pretty fucking confident. But two, you're going to have a better conversation because they're going to then be like, oh, this thing. And you can be like, oh, now that I know more, I can either weigh in or, oh, maybe I'll look into it or something.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being like, oh, you know these things? Yeah. Okay.
And especially like, if we're going back to dating, if it's a first date,
oh my God,
getting people to talk about the things they care about,
that's fucking key.
It takes all the pressure off of you to like,
and
you know what I mean?
You don't learn about.
You don't have to worry about like that weird like, what do I say? What do I say next? You get out of that interview mode, and people are willing to talk about the things that matter to them. So like,
it's hard to stop them.
That's the thing. It's like, so if someone mentions like, I went to a concert, and you're like, oh, I've never heard of them. Like, what do they play? It's like that opens up the door.
And even if they're like, you don't know fucking Kings of Leon, you could be like, I've heard the name, I guess, but like, I don't fucking know.
I don't know a thing about them.
They're not going to be like, oh, you're a weirdo, I'm gone. It's going to be like an interesting quirk, and then they get to tell you and maybe introduce them to you. It's great.
Yep.
That's the shit. It's all built on. Ugh.
So yeah, don't overthink confidence. Just embrace yourself.
But don't think about it too little.
Don't forget about it.
Don't just think about it more.
A little bit
too
more.
much.
No, too much. Come on.
Said don't over.
It's like a teeter-totter.
Yeah.
Or a scale.
Just top think it.
Yeah.
Don't under, don't over, just top think.
Yeah.
Right now.
You there? All right, work on it.
Wait, what was that? Oh, you don't know how to top think? You did it. Perfect. We love you.
Nailed it.
You're more confident than us now. Can you help us? We need to be more confident podcasters. So this is by user SwagSwag1000.
Oh no.
Guess the question.
How do I get my swagger back?
Why do you think people don't want guys to be taught game? And yes, this is from the Seduction Reddit.
God damn it.
And also, basically, like, what I want is the initial shit, because the person effectively said that being a pickup artist was better for women.
Mm-hmm. Can't argue that.
Yeah. Just having a bunch of men, like, catcalling you and dragging you into corners. But, damn, why don't people want men to be taught game?
See, it's weird because, like, I would love to know who he thinks doesn't want men to be taught game. If his stance is, it's better for women. Because you'd think that if women didn't want men to learn game, they wouldn't care. Because it's better for them. Or are women just too stupid to realize how good game is for them?
That's the thing. He feels that nobody knows what game is. All apart from PUAs, pickup artists. And just like, how? How doesn't the world know?
Also, I'm pretty sure that like pickup artist is like a bad, like even within that community,
really?
I don't think they call themselves pickup
I don't know
artists.
Their shit.
I think they've
Pretty
realized.
sure they do. They say PUA all the time.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I have not delved nearly as much.
Some people are quoting him down below. So I think his various things, in no particular order, he said, mainstream teaches guys bullshit, makes them pussies, and then girls complain about no good guys. Truth is simple. Maybe it's that we don't want rivals, so we don't create them. We don't spill out dating secrets. We keep them to yourself and let guys in the circle be clueless. Is that why we don't want guys to get game? And I think it's just this guy is, like, do we think, pickup artists are better for women? I think our stance has been very clear forever.
I mean, yeah.
No.
I don't think we need to restate our stance, but no, we pickup artists are a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Here, and like even that's a stupid bullshit because like we're literally doing a podcast right now in efforts that people will.
We're not teaching people game because that's like
but we're teaching people like how to have successful relationships and get laid and fuck better.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be considered game. That would be considered teaching people to be pussies, according to what these people say.
Oh, I misunderstood that quote. I thought it was saying that like let's not teach other people how to be successful. I mean, again, I guess we're teaching the opposite of what game is, which is manipulation and.
Exactly. So that's the thing. You know when game is referred to by people in the seduction subreddit, they literally mean like put her on an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Fucking how do I get my ex to text back to me? Like Dan. Like literally Dan.
Yeah.
And negging. And like like technically some people are like, oh, he's got game, like he'll get with people. But when they talk about game, they mean like literally pickup artists or whatever the fuck. What's the name then if they don't use that?
I don't know. I
think they still use that.
Maybe.
Either way. And I think, like, the difference between, yes, we are doing a sex and dating advice podcast. I don't think we've ever been like, this is how you do it. This is your 10-step program, unless we've been taking the piss.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what game is like, it's this is a surefire 10-step instruction. This is you do this,
yes,
and it works not for this situation, every woman. Because as we all know, every single woman is the exact same, right?
I mean, if you do those 10 steps, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. if you leave one out, they might be different. But you do those 10, and that's
if you do those 10,
and that's the thing. It's
and
like
if you do the right 10,
you can't be like people from this city are assholes. Well,
there was actually I can't remember. I think it was that Roosh guy.
The guy who's like banned from half the world.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it was him who came to Toronto and was like, Toronto women are the worst, and his like whole thing was just like, One of them was like, all the hot ones don't even care about how much money you have. It's like,
whoa.
And it was like, all they want to do, like, the most important thing for women at the end of the night is going to get food. I'm like, I've never been prouder of Toronto women right now in my life.
We should print that out and just like put it on our borders.
It's literally the craziest thing. Also, he went to the Madison House and he was complaining that like the quality of woman. Yeah. I'm like, you went to a bar that's famous for bringing in underage girls. Also, it's a dive bar. Also, it's like you could literally just do anything in there and probably go home with someone.
That's the thing.
Like, I was leaving with my group of friends one night and like a group of girls were like, where are you guys going?
You have to fight really hard not to pick up with them.
We literally were just like, she was like, oh, I just broke up with my boyfriend. I'm looking for some fun. And we're like, good luck.
Bye.
And they were like, oh, I mean, you guys seem like fun. It's like, we sure are. Have a good night.
I'm going to go home, cook my bud some food, and burn myself multiple times.
Yeah.
And I think that, to me, is one of the biggest issues is that, like, you don't treat women like people if you believe in game. Because you're not saying, hey, you should be nice to people or you should be nice to yourself. You're saying, do this thing, this thing, this thing. Yeah, get up in their like, and also you promote things like talking to people when they got fucking headphones on, like holding people in place by the arm, and like it just like we've read out. Like,
sorry, go ahead.
We've read out stuff before, like fucking put them under your sweaty.
We end every episode,
and, like like we do that, and I haven't had a single person ever say, "Oh yeah, no, but they make a good point." Every single person who's listened, we have a fair few at this point, has laughed and been like, "Yeah, those idiots." I think that should be all the.
I will say though, I've seen some of it work firsthand.
Yeah,
and that's the scary thing.
But that's the thing. It like just because it works occasionally doesn't mean it's good, and it doesn't mean like even if it worked 100% of the time, I think it's fucked. You know, like I could be like, hey, you go out with a hammer, hit someone really hard in the head, you get their wallet. That probably work 100% of the time. Doesn't mean it's good. I would end up with a wallet, but you know,
how much money's in the wallet?
Everyone has the exact same amount of money.
True.
If you follow these 10 steps. So you're going to have to log on to my website. You're going to have to buy the book, the annual licensing fee, and you have to watch the first 73 videos. And then watch my bullshit Twitter when I start off really racist and then just start moaning about my ex and my wife.
It's... it hurts me so much, just in general, this whole game thing. Because I'm not... Here's the thing. I'm not against having your tricks. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely had the things that I knew worked for me.
But, like...
My problem is...
Name a trick, because I don't think your tricks are the same as, like, a game trick.
No, well, that's what I mean. It's like, I couldn't think of one off the top of my head, because I'm so far out of...
I think even at one point we were talking about, like, you know, if you see a girl at the bar or whatever, you maybe like, oh, hey, how are you doing? How's your night going? And then you would talk to them and then just, like, leave.
Yeah.
And I guess that could be considered a trick, but it's also just, like, you don't want to just get all up in someone's face in a fucking, like, public place where they don't know who the fuck you are, and you're a dude, and historically not a great track record.
Yeah.
And, like, yes, could you consider that a trick? Sure, maybe. You also consider it not being an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. My problem with, like, quote-unquote game is that it's quite literally that. It is, like, it is manipulation. It's, like, not true. It's dishonest. You know what I mean? It's sort of like these weird, like, this is how it works.
It's acting like women aren't people.
Yeah, or it's like it's as if sort of their vaginas are an objective, as opposed to like connecting with someone and then maybe fostering some sort of relationship, even if it is just a sexual experience for one evening.
Sex is the best.
Yeah,
like there's a reason we're all obsessed with it. It's fine, and there's nothing wrong with fucking. There's nothing wrong with one night stands. There's nothing wrong with any of that shit. But it's how you get there.
Yeah.
And like, people are in combination locks, right?
Yeah, if you do it through like a means of dishonest manipulation,
exactly,
then...
or like, just like, what are the words I'm looking for? Just like intimidation sometimes, and like, you know, conniving,
trickery,
and just like you know, I'm down for a good bamboozle every now and then, but like, you know,
I think bamboozle is lighthearted. I don't think there's any bad bamboozles. I
feel like we don't want to go and just be like, yeah, the whole thing is wrong, because like. Unfortunately, a lot of, like, if you do look at, like, game on seduction or whatever, sometimes there's kernels of wisdom hidden in there. Like, a lot of it is like, hey, you should be more confident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of it is
that's
like,
why I'm
you
so
should work
surprised
on
to hear
yourself
pickup artists.
physically.
Because, like, a lot of the modern stuff that I've seen has been more about, like, self-improvement.
Yeah, but have you been on seduction?
No. I actively try to avoid it. But like I said, like a lot of it focuses, or a lot of like the modern stuff that I've seen has focused very heavily on self-improvement. And it's about like treating your body right and like getting your mind in order, getting yourself, like your personal life in order, and then like sort of profiting off of that self-confidence.
Yeah, which is
fine, great.
Can't fault
you know
that,
what I mean? Like
right?
if you go to the gym and get a great body and then you rock that body,
or even just a better body.
Yeah. I mean, like,
or even like
fucking awesome, cool,
in
great.
the words of Mabim Bam, get your sexy right.
Get your sexy right.
You know?
Yeah, if you figure out that sort of like, you know, Rubik's Cube of what you need to do and what order.
And even if you're just going to the gym, you're probably going to start feeling better anyway, apart from maybe crushing self-confidence issues while you're in the gym and everyone's ripped and knows what they're doing and you're like lifting 2 weights being like, huh? That's my gym experience. But
that's why I work out at home. I only do my boxing classes
why I
at my
climb.
gym. Yeah.
It's like I don't know what, like, I'm not at a loss of what to do because I'm just like, oh, climb that wall. All right. I can't. I'll work at it more. Oh, I got it. I did something. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I hate lifting weights at the gym.
Oh, yeah. I just,
I have no problem doing my class and, like, hitting the bags, whatever, because I can punch shit. I mean, not anymore because my hand's all fucked.
I find the classes are good because someone's telling you what to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not at a loss. Punching stuff's great because it's punching stuff. But even just, like, push-ups and, like, sit-ups and shit, it's like, I find it very hard to do exercise that isn't, like, fun and or directed towards something, you know? At least when I'm going on a run, like I have a destination, or like if I'm cycling, I'm just cycling. It's, you know.
I don't even remember what this question was.
Why do people not want men to be taught
Oh,
game?
because it's bullshit.
Yeah,
it's stupid bullshit that treats women as if they're a subcategory of human.
I've been saying this whole time. You were hedging around it. I was waiting for it.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. If it seemed like I was arguing for game.
Yeah, I feel like initially I thought, not that you were, but just that you were hesitant to say that you hated it. But then I think you were just disgusted for a while, and it took you...
Yeah,
I realized about like 10 seconds in that you weren't just reluctant to say it, you were just so disgusted that it had to be said.
Yeah, no.
And again,
it's bullshit.
If your version of game is like to treat people well and like treat yourself well and all that shit, which again, occasional nuggets of wisdom, nothing wrong with that. But if you do think there's like a little combination code of like dragging someone into a corner or confronting them on the street or like wait till they're alone from their friends and then you swoop and like you lead them away. Like, we've read this shit before. You know what we're talking about, and it's bullshit.
Yep.
And people don't want it taught to people because men are bad enough as it is and women have a hard enough time
also,
as it is.
Let's be real. It's not people don't want it. It's probably women don't want this because
it's a multi-million-dollar fucking industry for men. So
because like women don't want it because they don't enjoy it. It's not.
No,
it's not something
awful.
that women like.
Yeah.
So like trying to say like, why don't people want game taught to men, and women being like, we don't want it.
Yeah.
And be like, no, ladies,
talk to me.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
That's a crazy fucking thing to say.
If women wanted men to have game, like, there'd probably be women pickup artists being like, hey, this is what you do, as opposed to just like a bunch of weird dudes who are like,
here's my big tall hat.
Yeah, here, I put them under my blazer, I swear. I just put them in my sweat cave and I smooch them. And my website's falling apart, but I got a suit.
It's like, yeah. You want to go to my website? It's still on GeoCities.
Yeah.
It's covered in fucking GIFs that say under construction.
Do you think Dan would be constantly lamenting losing his ex and or wife? Maybe they're the same. I don't know. Do you think he'd be lamenting them if pickup artist shit worked?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's very strange because I went on his site and it still says that he's like happily married. So I feel like that hasn't been updated, or he's just like using the secret to project his hopes and dreams that he still hasn't.
I don't know. Maybe he's got another wife. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. He's just got like a standby wife who just has to listen to him talk about his ex all the time.
Like, aw. He just didn't add her on Twitter. But also, like, I think the majority of our listeners are women, so that could probably indicate where we're at in this situation. Like, I think that's probably a glowing indicator. Oh, hopefully. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, and hopefully they agree. And again, if you don't, let us know.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone does.
I don't think anyone's ever come at me with a disagreement. I'm sure there's some things someone has been like, nope.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this comes from Reddit user, Empty Weather.
Oh.
Boyfriend is into degradation, and so am I, but I'm sort of scared of how it affects our relationship. So my boyfriend is into calling me names, slut, bitch, etc., and being rough with me. When we're in the moment, I'm all for it, but a part of me is worried that he'll think less of me for it. He's always been very respectful to me, and in and out of bed, and if I told him I'm not into something, he'd stop without question. The thing is, though, sometimes I get worried that guys who are in love with a girl wouldn't want to do these things to her, and that maybe he's internally judging me for being into all this and doing degrading things for him. I mean, yeah, I'm fun, but not a proper lady or marriage material or whatever. I know my question sounds a bit ridiculous because we have an amazing sex life and we're both very pleased with how well our kinks match, but these thoughts keep me coming back. So I guess I'd just love to hear about male mindset and wanting to degrade your partner.
If it was 1910, maybe. But I don't think anyone's like, proper wife material. But also, like, it's not a rare kink at all. Like, a lot of people are into it.
I think the key to this question is he's always been very respectful to me in and out of bed. Mm-hmm. And if I told him I'm not into something, he stops without question.
Yeah, no, that all seems fine.
That like
it seems like it's a her thing. Like, as far as I'm aware, like, they're both into it.
Yeah.
Both consensual. It's literally very good. And he has never shown any signs of taking that further, either in abusing her subservience or whatever, or literally degrading her without her consent, or being mean to her on a day-to-day
allowing
basis.
that to like bleed into
So that all sounds
life.
really positive. So the remaining problem is her mindset and her I guess self-confidence about the issue.
Yeah.
Which, that's fair, I guess. So I think maybe like aftercare is like a really good thing after you guys degrade each other.
And it's one of those things where like if your kink sort of retroactively makes you feel terrible, perhaps you're not as into it as you think you are.
Maybe, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where like if you're thinking that he thinks less of you and has showed no signs of it,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe this is sort of maybe more performative. And you think you're like sort of slotting yourself into a desire that he wants?
Yeah, maybe. You know what? It could just be she's not as accepting of it as she might grow to be.
Yeah.
Which I get, like, kink shaming is a thing, and people not
100%.
accepting their kinks, and people, like, learning to accept them and, like, working through them and all this shit. But also, like, you know, the fact that she's, like, talking about wife material and shit, that's not really a her thing. That's a society thing.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess I get it, but, like, picture it this way. Imagine he's with a girl that didn't like those things or whatever. He wouldn't have a very fulfilled sex life, which is a very important part of a relationship. So
yeah, or he could be doing the opposite, where she couldn't be into it, and he would still do it regardless.
Yeah.
Like we've had questions like that, where like, it's like, you know, their whatever partner isn't into something, but the partner keeps doing it. Like the guy whose balls were bleeding or whatever. Remember the guy who's pissing blood because his wife kept like hitting him in the nuts or whatever?
Oh man, I forgot about that one. And I was okay with it, like okay with forgetting it.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things I think you have to sort of take a moment and just trust your partner. You know what I mean? If he's treating you really well and knows your limits and knows your boundaries and has always respected those,
and you both, you know,
and then if outside of the world, like in the non-bedroom world, he's treating you with the utmost respect, you've hit a fucking gold mine.
Yeah, he's a freak in the sheets, but to him, in the streets, you're a lady. And that's fine.
And I think that's the kind of the thing. It's like, in the bedroom, if you want to be a slut, if that, you know what I mean?
I do.
If he's if you're his slut, great. But that doesn't necessarily
dangerous
mean
word,
that, like,
Dain.
not really. Not if she's into it.
No, and that's the thing, is like, whatever you want to do.
But then
in bed,
if you switch it around, and then like in the day-to-day life, if you're his honey, his baby, his sweetie, his babe, his whatever, if that doesn't bleed in, I think it's very clear that he knows the boundaries of what this quote unquote degradation is. You know what I mean? He knows it's restricted to the bedroom during sex and during like sort of intimate just you and him. If at no point in time has he ever sort of like tried to humiliate you in public, I think it's very clear that like he understands the boundaries of this kink. And if you're not sure how he feels about it,
talk to him.
We say this all the time, but communication.
Comunicado.
Talk to him and be like, hey, I'm worried that like this might bleed into how you think about me outside of the bedroom.
I'm sure he'd be very sad to hear that.
Yeah, and like I'm sure by the sounds of it, good dude, probably going to reassure you that he's got it under control, and his actions seem to support that mentality.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, I feel like it's residual societal guilt or something else, or even just like a self-confidence issue coming out in this way. But like, talking about like wife material and shit, like that's the way you're saying it, and in this context is as if everybody who's married just has vanilla sex.
Yeah.
Everyone who's married just, missionary, no butt stuff, no bad words, equal playing field. Boom. That's not true.
Yeah,
There are people
promise
who
you, if you
degrade the shit out of each other who
I
are
promise you
married.
that, like, on any given day, if you go to a sex club, I would say a good percentage of the people there are married or in like a very, very committed monogamous relationship.
Probably,
or maybe not
almost
monogamous.
all of them,
Or
or at least like long term.
Yeah, like
long term
they're
committed,
committed,
whether
yeah.
monogamous or polyamorous.
That it's you can get married to a woman who is a fucking freak.
Yeah, or a dude
Honestly,
who's a freak.
that's the dream.
That is the thing. It's like if wife material is just someone who's like,
Yeah,
fuck that.
yeah. No one. I don't think anyone wants
Yeah,
that.
and like if it's his fetish,
But here's the thing.
like, he probably loves you more because you guys are able to like achieve what you both want sexually together. Because again, that's the dream. So
is-
if like
Take a look at the dating or the sex or the dead bedroom subreddit on
Oh,
Reddit.
God, yeah.
And take a look at all the people who currently aren't being sexually fulfilled and realize that you've hit the jackpot by finding someone who, like, almost, Lego-esque
yeah,
matches with your fucking kink. Like, you guys fit together perfectly
Yeah.
in this situation.
if you're
and
both into it, and
that's not common.
yeah, and if you're satisfied, why would they not be?
Yeah.
Unless either one of you is faking the kink, which you don't do, but like literally happy marriage head,
Yeah.
probably in
Yeah.
both senses. Like sex is a massive part of a relationship, so like if you guys are doing it right, then you don't have to worry about that
Keep
shit.
doing it right.
And again, if it does start to bleed over into real life, then yeah, you gotta like address it. But either way, comunicado.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably doesn't even
it'd be
work.
one thing if like, you guys were out at like a luncheon and he's like, "Hey, slut, give me another beer."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, if that's kind of the thing, and you're just like,
and even then,
whoa.
might that be fun? I don't know.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
how I
if,
talk
if
to
you're
Dain.
into that, then fucking also fine. But like, I don't know. It seems like he's very, very respectful of boundaries, and maybe if it's just a matter of sitting down and being like,
Just getting reassurance.
here are my boundaries for this, and I want to make sure this isn't bleeding over, and I want to make sure this isn't going to taint our relationship from like a committal or like long-term standpoint. Again, judging by this dude, it sounds like he's probably going to like
Be
tell
sad
you
that
tell you
feel
how it
that way,
is.
and-
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
hopefully.
yeah. So I address it if you're that concerned about it, bring it up.
Yeah.
Or review his behavior and sort of, or like any partner's behavior, if you're a woman listening or a man listening to this, vice versa, and just sort of take people on their word. You know what I mean? Like, let their actions and their words speak for themselves. Because there doesn't seem to be any sort of evidence that he's going to let this bleed into anything other than his bedroom life. All right, hit me.
All right. Pick 1, 2, or 3.
3.
Okay. This is from Wanna Cry Throwaway. Aww. It's actually a pretty serious question.
I was crying.
Fucking dirtbag. Okay. I, 30-year-old male, denied sex from my 27-year-old female wife. I caused World War III. Backstory. Wife and I have a 3-year-old daughter. Wife's been getting her master's for 2 years. I work as a cybersecurity analyst. Our relationship is on the fritz for various reasons. Dad duties include the following. Feed my daughter dinner every night, give her a bath, read her a bedtime story, lay with her till she sleeps. I've done this her entire life and don't expect a gold star for doing what dads are supposed to do. My wife wasn't getting her master's, so she sometimes comes home late from school, working out or getting drinks with friends. I drive my daughter to daycare, attached to my job, every day. Again, not asking for sympathy, this is what dads do. I get home and don't get time to breathe until she's asleep. She has the freedom to say, "Oh yeah, I'm going out tonight, I'll be back late." I don't have that freedom. I pay for a majority of the bills. One point it was on me to pay for daycare and car payment, and to say I'm stressed all the time is an understatement. Family and hers had a falling out years ago, or my family and her had a falling out a year ago. So if I want to go somewhere or do something, it's my responsibility to take my daughter to my parents. Her mom duties are get her ready in the morning, make breakfast, lunch. Trying to initiate sex is brutal. She's either too tired or not in the mood. She only wants to have sex when she comes home drunk with her friends. Outside of that, she would never try to have sex. If she does, it's, can I just lay on my side? I want to sleep.
Yikes.
Yesterday she goes, oh, going out tonight with gym friends, be back late. Doing nightly dad duties every single night is exhausting, so when she tells me this, I don't respond to her texts. So annoyed with her, I just don't want to talk to her to cause another pointless fight. Gets home drunk, starts making out with me. Again, only when she's drunk. Lays on me, asks, let's go have sex. I tell her no. World War III ensues. Who are you fucking? Who do you think you are? Yada yada. Mind you, no is her middle name. We argue. Her response is, you don't care about yourself. You don't dress well and genuinely don't care about anything outside of your daughter. I have my demons and think I'm battling serious depression, so I understand she's not 100% to blame, but still. I walk on eggshells in my house in fear my wife will cut my dick off. If she's stressed, she uses me as her punching bag. I'm not sure what to do. Trying to talk to her is dangerous as she freaks out whenever I try to talk about it stuff. And further down, he does in the comments point out that she has struck him in the face during these arguments in front of their daughter. So
it's their daughter, right? Like, it's not his daughter.
No, it's their daughter, yeah. Sorry, this one was...
Why did I pick 3? Can I go back and pick another question?
One was really light.
Yikes. Holy shit.
Yeah. But I think, physical abuse when it's the woman versus the man, it's kind of a reversal of a lot of roles, and it's a really horrible situation, and I think this person clearly needs help, so I did think it was important.
Yeah, I mean, there's a significant lack of resources for men who are in abusive relationships.
Yeah.
In comparison, again, I don't want to draw a comparison of but more women are what I mean? Like that's I'm not trying to make this a pissing contest of misery.
The thing, it's always one of those things where I get it, it's a really sensitive subject, and talking about it understandably brings people's ire up, and I get it, because we're also pissed off that women need those services too.
Yeah.
More than pissed off. But it doesn't mean men shouldn't also have them, is the only thing I think we would also say, and that it does suck that there are a lot of men out there who are in situations like this and don't have any really avenues to go, because I know I've read a fucking million questions where it's called the cops and finally told them that she was abusing me, and they were like,
they laughed.
6 foot, what are you doing? I was like...
And it's one of those things, it's what are my options to fight my wife?
I could probably beat her in a fight, but
it's I could 100% take
don't want to,
my girlfriend in a fight.
Depending.
But
but either way, it's fucked. It's why would you say that? It's you're promoting him to be violent back.
Yeah.
Good job, cops.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of the thing, right? There's all those fucking bullshit YouTube videos where it's we switched the script and they do one where it's the guy yelling at the girl, everyone sort of rushes to her aid, and there's the other one where it's the girl hitting the guy, and everyone takes their phones out and laughs and takes pictures and takes videos and stuff, and it's that's sort of a really fucked up situation where it's sort of, we don't really give a shit if men are abused, and I've definitely gone into conversations with people about media image and media portrayal, and sort of the way that men are sexualized differently than women. Mm-hmm. And I'm always very clear being I understand that's a very different sexualization, mm-hmm. and a very different sort of whatever, but it's there are still issues. I think it's, I can't remember the exact percentages, but the differing percentage between the men and women who have body dysmorphia or eating disorders is very, very slim. Mm-hmm. It's
we all know people and all have been in situations where we've had body image issues or whatever, so
and I know that seems strange considering this question, but my point is that it's very strange how we always draw a line in the sand between men's issues and women's issues, and more often than not they're very, very similar. Mm-hmm. And should be treated as such.
The root cause is the same, so it really fucks over any work towards fixing that when you're just oh, men have what issue? We have it worse. And it's I'm not saying you don't, but can men not also have an issue?
That's the thing. It's very strange. It's hard for a lot of dudes because it's almost always met with sort of this, like I said,
it's terrifying. A
pissing contest of misery. You know what I mean? It's almost always mm-hmm. we have it worse, and it's I know you do, but I'm also fucked right now.
Yeah.
And it's it's sort of like, I've actually had a woman say that, like, not enough men have suffered for me to care before. And, like, she quickly deleted that comment when I called her out for it. But, like, that was the sort of sentiment behind a lot of the people who are sort of disagreeing with me on that topic. And I'm just like, what is the percentage of, like, male victims for you to care about something?
That's an insane thing to say. And it sucks because it does pit people against each other who are all suffering from the same problem, more so than dealing with the people making the problem when you're just like, you know, or the societal functions making the problem or whatever, you know what I mean? Because it's like a men versus women thing when it's like, can we not all just agree this sucks? And
that domestic violence is the issue, that like abusive partners are the issue, and it's not a men versus woman thing. And again, I understand that the statistics are different, and I understand that like
situations are different,
the societal roles,
the danger is different.
But I understand all that, but like if a unified front, if like men knew that they could rely on women, and women knew they could rely on the men that were on their side, that were allies, like that is a much stronger position. And that's sort of like the point I've been making with all the recent like abortion shit, where like I've seen so many memes where it's like women can go to jail for like having an abortion, might as well kill a guy. I'm like, I just don't understand where people sort of like,
I get it, like people are angry and they want thing, but it's
I
like
totally get it, and I understand that like there's a part of this sort of like absurdist rationale where people are being like, this is how crazy you are. That this
and
is
to
sort
be
of
fair,
like,
you may as well, I guess, if it like it
this
is
the thing,
that insane that like
and I understand those sort of things, but I'm also like, there's a lot of dudes on your side the same way that like there are a lot of women on men's side when they're the victims of abuse. And that's kind of what we should be focusing on.
Well, especially like because you get shitty situations. Like remember when we started the podcast and we had mentioned toxic masculinity. And people we knew, or at least one person I knew, very aggressively like attacked me and was like, "Oh, why the fuck?" Like, blah, it started going off, and essentially, he agreed with people's definition of toxic masculinity. Like, he agreed that like pickup artists were bad. He agreed that like X was bad and Y was bad and Z. But to him, when you say toxic masculinity, you're saying fuck all men. Like masculinity is toxic.
Yeah, masculinity, and
you
that's,
know,
and that's the point I've made a bunch of times where I'm just like, I wish we could rebrand that, not from a conceptual point of view, but from sort of like a marketing point of view, where like more people will be on board with the concept of toxic masculinity if we switch the name to like toxic socialization, toxic sexuality, toxic, you know what I mean? If we...
Because then it, like people, and I get it, like when I was younger and heard the term, I was like, hey.
And that's the thing, it's like, it doesn't make any sense to sort of like draw a line in the sand because like women partake in toxic behavior, and it's sort of all thrown under the blanket or like the umbrella term of toxic masculinity. And it's just like I understand, and I like, again, conceptually I understand the point and what this means, but for the people that we want to get on our side, which is the people who aren't currently on our side, it's the terminology that's
like sometimes
the first hurdle.
You're undercutting people who literally agree with you just because they think it means something else, which so like whatever. I know it's not necessarily on people to educate other people and all that, but at the same time, if you can make a simple change and just avoid Dave,
it's sort
who
of
didn't really read that Jezebel article from getting pissy.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's the same thing. Like if you switched it around to like being like racial privilege as opposed to white privilege, a lot of people like it. There's that sort of like initial sort of defensive mechanism when you think, especially if you're like if you're white but are living in poverty and have never sort of like found quote unquote privilege, you initially get defensive about it despite not quite understanding the full concept. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if you change like things to more blanket terms and less directed terms, people are going to be more willing to accept them.
There's still going to be a bunch of people being assholes about it.
100%.
Like,
but there
the
always
fucking
is.
World, unfortunately. But I honestly do think a lot of people would like just and stop that knee jerk. Like, hey,
that's the thing. Like
me?
Something as simple as being like toxic sexualization, toxic socialization, whatever you want to call it. All those guys who, you know, for whatever reason, wouldn't initially like agree, but already agree with the concept, just not, you know what I mean, just get turned off by the phrase. You now have all of them on your side.
Yeah, which I think is a pretty big chunk of people.
A huge chunk of people. But anytime you suggest it, like I suggested, just being like, oh, hey, like toxic masculinity is problematic in its phrasing, and here are the reasons why. Pretty much all the things I just said, and people are like, "You're a misogynist."
Yeah.
And it's
like,
oh,
no,
for
you're
fuck's
doing
sake.
the opposite of what I was
It's like
saying.
that's not the point. And it's like there is just sort of like a general lack of nuance discussion that happens anymore. Like people are just sort of like this side and this side, and like any sort of area in the middle is completely unthinkable.
Yeah, which is the worst for any argument, I think, because then even if you're
Absolutely.
near the middle or you're like willing to like work or compromise or could be swayed, even if you're a little iota to the left,
That's
you're
the thing.
left. If
If
you're
you're
iota to the
one,
right,
if you're one notch to the right, you're
Yeah.
on their side.
yeah, it's like shit. I
if
don't
you-
want to be.
If you open that
Not
spectrum,
that I am on the right. I'm pretty sure.
No, you're not. You are definitely not. Yeah, if you open your spectrum, if you open sort of your arms to the gray area, you're going to be able to scoop more people up onto
scoop
your
that
side.
gray.
And the people who are on the extreme right are going to be seen as extreme,
Insane, yeah.
as opposed to just sort
That's
of like
the thing.
this
when
is
both
one side
sides
and
are
that side.
extreme, there is no
There's no middle.
like you can be fucking insane and you can be just kind of like, oh, I guess, and like, oh, my dad's a Republican, and you're the same.
Yeah,
Like
we
got derailed, but
did.
yeah, this dude is in a bad
This
situation.
question, it sounds like he just needs to take his daughter and bounce.
Yeah, but
It sounds like he's
again, he
doing-
would lose the custody battle because he's a dude. Or at least 70, 80, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a stupidly high figure. And
I mean,
that's another fucking part of this,
that's
which
the
we
thing.
just, you know.
It would. I mean, like he's got some things on his side, just being like, well, you know what I mean. Like my work provides the daycare.
Yeah, I think
You know
what
what I mean?
what you need to do is to be smart about something like this, and like if you can get recordings of, you know, keep text messages. She's like, oh, I'm out drinking again. I'm out drinking again.
Yeah,
If she's yelling, like maybe record the conversation. If there's like noted times when you're with your daughter, like take note of those times, and you can be like, look, I was with my daughter 8 hours out of, you know, the 9 she was awake, and
yeah,
she got lunch and whatever. And like, be fair, I don't think skewing the results is gonna help your favor. Like if you have a legitimate, like, beneficial relationship and your wife doesn't, that'll stand more to you than if you try and underplay what she does.
yeah.
If you can get any of the aggressive things either on video or you know, but it's one of those things where you need to make sure, I think, that you don't go off half cocked, and don't put yourself in danger either, you know.
Yeah, it might be worth looking into sort of maybe like legal aid for single fathers who are in abusive relationships. I'm sure that exists. Hopefully you're in a city where it exists. I'm sure in like smaller towns and cities that's probably not a thing, but like if you're in a bigger city, it might be a resource, maybe even like a national resource that you might like want to look into.
And if you do contact a lawyer, at least before, like, they'll give you a better indication. Obviously, we're not lawyers; we don't really know how any of these things play out if the worst comes to worst. But like, they will be able to direct you. Like, cool, keep a track of X, keep a track of Y.
Yeah.
And like, just make sure your daughter's safe, because I don't really know what their relationship is like, but by the sounds of it, you know, it's not ideal either.
No.
And just like, it's good that you're looking for help.
Yeah, it's a scary situation because like it's one of those things where it's like, you know, the mother isn't fit, or at least it doesn't sound like she's fit to take care of a child. And like, if you look at statistics, if you sort of like start that battle, there's a good chance you're gonna lose, and she's gonna like the daughter who seems to be your life. You're already doing most of the work, so like even if you're a single dad, you're still doing everything.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you'll be out much at this point. Yeah, and I think even like tied to this is like the general thing: if you don't want to have sex, you don't have to have sex, man or woman. So
absolutely, yeah,
because that was like the general thing. But again, it's kind of rare we get the question flipped around.
And especially if they come home intoxicated, like,
and also if they start yelling at you, like. When like that's so fucked up. Like if the roles were reversed here, people would be calling the police on this question.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, there would be no discussion. There would be no caveats. No us taking time to talk about statistics and society and like, please don't lacerate us for this. It would be 100%.
Yeah,
no way, not at all. No questions. No talking. No hedge your bets. You know. maybe, definitely, I'd be safe. But, not maybe, definitely, I'd be safe.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I just, like, if you are in a situation similar to this, like, don't feel that you can't, like, you're no less of a person if you're admitting to abuse on either side of the scale, you know? It doesn't matter what size or what gender you are.
Yeah.
If you're being abused, you're being abused.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I know it's a sad, heavy one, but,
I feel like we've been ending a lot on, like, really heavy episodes.
we're not ending it.
Well, we're at an hour.
I just want people to be safe, and, you know, I hope it works out for this dude. Do you have a quick happy one?
I definitely do not.
Okay, I have one if you want.
Okay, yeah, hit me with that.
I don't know if we can just pop back to a fun one, can we?
Try me.
Oh, you know what?
Try me.
Maybe we'll do our new segment. We'll do this quick, and then we'll do our new segment.
We have a new segment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is from user JickX21. Guys, do you like girls who laugh at your jokes?
Nope. Next.
This might be a stupid question, but I have a friend who always laughs at guys' jokes. It's very emotive. / her face can make any expression, depending on the story.
Whoa.
Think Amelia Clark. Guys always seem to like her. Describe her as funny and charming, even though she never makes jokes herself. Are girls who laugh at your jokes instantly more attractive? I think girls that look like Amelia Clark are attractive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
This is a question based on jealousy.
This is a head scratcher, if you ask me.
Yeah. Are the jokes she laughs at funny?
I mean, that's the question. Is she just sort of like laughing at everything? Because maybe she's just really easy to please. I don't know.
Maybe she has hysteria.
Yeah, it might just. I don't like. Fuck this question. I hate it.
Yeah, no, it's the worst. It's like, what dumb shit is this? Like, nobody dislikes when people laugh at their jokes. I think we can.
Yeah.
Unless like
no one's like, oh, you found that funny?
I've made some terrible jokes
Stupid.
and then been sad when people laughed at them, but that's beside the point. Like, that's a dumb fucking question. You just want us to say your friend is only attracted to men because she does that. Fuck off. Your friend probably has some other shit going on.
Also, if she looks like Amelia Clark.
Yeah, no, I think it's more she can make any facial expression similar to Amelia Clark, but also she has like 2 expressions for the whole show.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here. I feel like
talk to the manager face.
I feel like everyone is capable of making every expression.
Oh, I can't be sad.
That's true. I've never seen you. No, it's not working. You just look happy. No, still look happy.
That's not happy either.
All your expressions are happy now. I hate to break it to you.
Only when I'm around you.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, is she just, like, straight up, like, mean mugging? Like,
well, that's the thing.
It's like,
is she the opposite?
So I was walking down the street, and then I tripped. Oh, no. Like, what's happening in these stories?
I would love, like, is this person just such a facial acrobat that maybe they don't even, like, find her attractive? Maybe they just want her around because she does every expression. Or maybe it's like
maybe she's contorting her face
yeah,
to like
yeah.
actually like Ditto-esque like act out the scene.
Or maybe it's just like, damn, them cheek muscles must be real good.
Yeah,
them lip like if
did
you're
you just unhinge your jaw to show me how surprised you are?
Oh shit! I actually had a user question I forgot to do. Sorry, we'll get to you next week, Ocelot.
Oh no.
Yeah,
so we're giving everyone else time to catch up because you're climbing up the leaderboards.
So we got a new segment.
Okay.
Are you ready for sex science?
Sex science.
Are you ready for sex science?
Only if you do that every time.
All right. So this is from the Daily Star.
Okay.
And the headline is Dinosaurs Not Killed by Asteroid, but by shortage of sex lakes in capitals.
Sex lakes?
Mm-hmm. A sex lake shortage, not an asteroid hit, spelled the end of dinosaurs, says a new theory.
Mm-hmm.
Controversial dinosaur researcher professor, don't think that's a title, but
yep.
Brian J. Ford has ruffled feathers in the paleontology world before with his theories about dinosaurs.
And it's always about them fucking.
Now he's gone one further. He claims the reason the huge beasts became extinct when so many other forms of life survived is because they were dependent on sex lakes. Also, great image.
Nice. T-Rex is about to fuck those raptors.
Rather than the fateful asteroid is generally believed to have ended the dinosaurs' reign, by like everyone else. He says continental drift pulled apart supercontinents on which the dinos lived, spelled the end for the shallow lakes they depended on for reproduction. He believed they were so heavy and bulky they could only successfully mate when partly supported by the buoyancy of water. As the continents drifted, the shallow lakes shrank, and the dinosaurs' ecosystem disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
They could only evolve wading in shallow water to take their weight. Once the Earth's surface changed, their environment disappeared. So did they. That's pretty much it.
So this guy, this bad boy of dinosaurs.
The bad boy dinosaur researcher professor.
Yeah. I like to think of this as sort of like a mixture of Ross Geller from Friends and
Dain.
Chris Pratt. I would also love to know how he was just like, is there any other science to back up this sex lake thing? Or is he just like, how would they fuck? The only way I can think of it is balloons tied to their backs to lift them up. Or
they didn't have balloons. Where'd all the helium come from? The asteroid. Sex lakes.
Sex lakes.
But like,
it's gotta
also,
be sex lakes.
Imagine a T-Rex fucking. That, I don't think we describe that as shallow anymore. I think we just describe that as a lake. Also, most lakes start shallow anyway.
Are you telling me that a T-Rex isn't just... How do giraffes fuck?
How do elephants fuck?
Right?
These are rhinos fuck.
These are big boys.
Yeah.
And they're fucking just fine.
And
unless they're
that's the
fucking in lakes. I don't know. Are they having sex in lakes? I'm not a giraffeologist.
You mean a giraffe...
Sorry, a
research giraffe professor.
Yeah, I'm not a giraffe research professor.
That's the thing. This doesn't make sense because let's say I was like, yo, you can only fuck in a lake. And then the continents drifted apart. 1, there was still water on Earth. 2, there were still seashores. 3, there were still other lakes.
Also,
I'm assuming. At which
I
point,
don't understand.
You just walk in a bit, and you're still there. Once you go too far or stay out too far, you just go in.
I can't imagine that the like was every lake on this like sort of like rift in which the continent split.
That's the thing.
Something
also,
tells me it's not that like
the world wasn't just covered in like 18 feet of water. Also, some dinosaurs weren't that big.
Yeah.
You're saying that, like, oh, the T-Rexes died, so the small ones weren't being eaten anymore, so they just stopped fucking.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
like,
the only
where
thing
are those
that
little
turned
acid
on.
spitter guys from Jurassic Park?
The only thing
around.
that turned on any small dinosaur
They're
was
like
seeing
pandas.
someone get bitten by a T-Rex, and they're like,
Or they need to see T-Rexes fucking.
oh, shit.
T-Rexes were the porn stars of the dino
like,
world.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure there's at least 18 porn stars called T-Rex, and I'm 3 of them. Right? Shit.
Maybe that's the thing. Is like everyone was like, "Wait, the T-Rex aren't fucking anymore."
Aww.
Oh, fucking forget it,
Wait,
Brenda.
wait.
Put your dick back in your pants.
All the girls, like, the biggest dicks died? Aww.
Nah, little venom spitter guys are like, "Yo, what up?"
I just saw that, and I was like, I don't even know how I found that. I was like, what the fuck?
It found you.
Yeah. So, I'm glad we could elucidate on this. And we could just invigorate your mind.
I'm gonna think about sex lakes.
I hope so.
Pretty much infinitely now.
Also, like, Infinite Sex Lakes, episode title. But also, like, fucking in water isn't good for you. Maybe that's what killed them.
Yeah.
They
They
just
were
have-
just shooting their load in lakes.
Yeah, it's dirty, dirty lakes. All backed up in their... Ugh. All right.
I thought you were going to be, it was like dinosaur AIDS. That's where I thought that question was going. There was some sort of like dinosaur STD that was
Probably would have made more sense.
just ravaging everyone. All right. Now, man, you have all the end segments.
Then fucking come up with one.
All right, I will.
Sorry. You comfy?
Mm-hmm.
This is The Age of Magic
Oh, shit.
by Ben Okri. When they slipped into the sex lake... No.
Damn it.
When his hand brushed her nipple, it tripped a switch, and she came alive. He touched her belly, and his hand seemed to burn through her. He lavished on her body indirect touches, and bittersweet sensations fluttered her brain. She became aware of places in her that could only have been concealed there by a god with a sense of humor. Adrift on warm currents, no longer of this world, she became aware of him gliding into her. He loved her. I can literally only picture this guy in goggles and a bright helmet, literally on a glider, like, pew! He loved her with gentleness and strength, stroking her neck, praising her face with his hands, till she was broken up and began a low, rhythmic wail. She was a little overwhelmed with being the adored focus of such power, as he rose and fell. She felt certain now that there was a heaven, and that it was here, in her body. The universe was in her, and with each movement it unfolded to her.
But that guy got a magic dick, eh?
Yeah, this is the age of magic.
Jesus.
Yeah. Also, why is everyone, on fire and burning?
Yeah, everyone has a terrible disease.
Also, what sense of humor? It's like God's vagina.
Yeah. Or maybe they're just nipples everywhere.
Lol.
He's just rubbing his hand around. I was like, oh,
man, just
hey,
nipples.
what's that?
That'd be
What's
great.
that?
You'd be like an American football. You could grip you so easily.
I would like you to rethink the idea of a woman covered in nipples, because that's disgusting.
Yeah. But you could always suck one from any angle.
Yes.
You could fucking suck someone's nipple while you're doing them doggy style. We've all wanted to do that.
Nope. Just nope. Ugh. I'm thinking of just a person covered in nipples, and I hate it.
You'd be so grippy. You could climb any wall. Just
What?
wrap your body.
What are you talking about?
If you
Nipples are not sticky.
Yeah, but if you had nipples, you'd be ribbed. If they were all over you, you'd be like the little nubbins on American football. You'd have such good grip.
Have you ever seen a fucking football just roll itself up a hill? It doesn't stick if you put it on a surface.
Yeah, footballs don't have appendages and also aren't alive 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, but imagine your hands are covered in nipples.
It would suck.
It would hurt so much. Try climbing something.
Yeah, I'm not
You've
saying...
seen what happens to your hands?
I'm not saying it wouldn't hurt.
It wouldn't help.
It would help.
It would not. If every time you
numb...
grab something, I've seen your hands after you've gone climbing, and they're torn to shit. Imagine that was your nipples. Imagine every time it was like the Harry Potter pen.
Look at that. Feel how hard that is.
Now
that would be how hard my nips would get.
Imagine the Harry Potter pen that, as they write it, it scratches into their arm. The Umbridge pen
and then
or whatever.
You use that wound to climb a wall. Ugh. Did you not look at any of Goblet of Fire?
Oh, the part where fucking Cedric became a nipple man.
Yeah, when he became a nipple man and cut his own arms. And
that's how he won that
wall.
Swimming challenge. He just covered himself in nipples.
Well, that's the thing. You twist those nips.
Nipples can breathe underwater.
They can. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people know that.
And that's been the real sex science.
Well,
you have to guess which one is real.
Oh,
Niall's sex science or my sex science?
Oh, we should do that. Fuck, I should have let you know about the sex science.
I did it anyway. Nipples can breathe underwater.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Well, you think fish have so many?
Exactly. Scales? No. They're covered in fish nibbles.
Yeah. Fish nibs. Let's end this.
Yeah, we need to.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much for listening.
Bye.
As always, it's been a pleasure. I hope you've had as much fun as we've had.
Bye-bye. It's been so good. Bye.
If you have a question,
bye.
You can hit us up on Twitter at
FCK_of
buddies, or you can find us on Facebook, FCK Buddies Podcast. You can hit us up on Gmail at fbuddiespodcast@gmail.com. I think that's it. I think it's all the ways you can get a hold of us. If you stand on top of the second largest hill closest
to the sun,
and
scratch
yell
your nipple arm.
Yeah, if you somehow manage to grow a third nipple, if you flick that nipple while screaming your question, we will hear it.
Yeah. Don't do it too loud and not at night if we're trying to sleep, and don't scream, nipple, scratch, yell, porn at us.
Yes, please don't send us porn.
Stop.
And or shout porn at us from the second highest
tower mountain
from the sun.
Thank you, Josh Eagle and the Harvard Cities, for your song Paper Stars.
Yeah. As always, we're going to end this podcast with, I don't even know what to call him anymore. Just Dan, I guess. Everyone knows who Dan is at this point. And if you don't, now you know.
We say his articles in jest.
Yes.
We do not hold true to the thoughts and feelings wrapped up within them. And that is not our bag. That is not our desired way to act around ladies. That is not, in fact, our values, the things we see when we look in the mirror. It is not us. It's not who we are.
You know what I see when I look in the mirror?
Nipples.
Just nipples everywhere.
Nips. I think he's stopped again. The last one we've gotten is 16th of April.
Shit.
So maybe he's just finally...
No.
I know, every time we say this, he's just like...
He's just powering up.
He's literally rewriting the million ways he can
He's
say
just sort
that
of
he
like
misses his
submerged
ex.
himself into like a bath of like Axe body
He's-
spray.
He's playing...
House Party?
House Party. New post. Well, it's from 2017, but it says new post. How to convince my ex to attend counseling to fix our relationship.
Damn, this has been going on for 2 years. Damn.
This is released on the same day. New post. My ex seems to get upset at anything I say to her these days. Yeah, because you're asking her to attend counseling to get back with you.
Oh man, my name is Dain Miller.
And I am Niall Sping.
And we are, as always, your fuck buddies.